Bright suns and rising moons, fellow droids. Welcome to another episode of Not the Droids podcast. I'm Danny.
And I'm Mayuri, and today we will be talking about episode 4 of Skeleton Crew, which was titled Can't Say I Remember No At Atten, which I saw the title and I was like, oh, 33. I hear you there. I wish I didn't even look up the amount of times they said that in this episode.
A lot.
This episode aired on Tuesday, December 17th. I thought was better than the last three, actually.
So good. I also needed it to be like another 45 minutes just of this actual episode.
It was so interesting. So the way it started, because like the way we ended the last one, like I said, I thought we were going to Atten. You did not.
Yeah, I was like that. There's no way.
I was like, can't it just be that easy?
No.
Um, but this planet was so eerily like at Atten. I wonder if all of the hidden planets were kind of built with the same formula in
Copy
terms of,
paste.
yeah, copy paste. Like they have the school, they have all the houses, they have the
What if it
supervisor's
was like
tower.
a science experiment to see which societies survived? But
So
they
do you,
all started off with the same exact like construction and like look, and then like we're all started in to see how like each planet would thrive or fail.
that's true. So that would be interesting if like each the hidden treasure on each planet that's like worth protecting is actually just the secret of like what
Like the
that
truth.
planet, yeah, the truth.
Yeah.
um
My other thought had been that Aten is a clone planet after Ak Akron, which one are
yeah,
we
at
on?
Akron.
Failed.
Oh, I wonder if that's true because like it looks like it failed a long time ago, and they don't really explain how many generations back at Atten has been going, right?
Yeah.
So I would assume though, since like they're called the like jewels of the Republic, that they were all in existence around the same
Yeah,
time.
that they were all created at the same time, and that's why I'm like maybe all of the planets were created with the same layout.
Yeah. But I also wonder if they've all lost their anonymity, and that is why they failed, right? Because this one, they were not like they were used to off-worlders, right? Like when they first flew into the planet, 33 said that they got engaged in an autopilot sequence for landing.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if like at some point, or maybe this planet allowed interstellar like off-worlders to visit.
Well, the guy
And
said that they only allow it now for trading.
oh, so they opened it up then.
Yeah.
Um, so like I do wonder because it seems like it's been war torn. I can't say
It's
that.
definitely a generational war, it feels like.
Yeah, because like they're just sweet baby Neil in this episode literally is hilarious.
Before we
Um,
go into
yeah, yeah, yeah.
our Neil Nation love, can we discuss initiating babysitting mode?
That was hilarious. I I
Uh,
also love that he's like, yeah, let's go. And they're like, we do not trust you. You have to stay here. And I love that 33 just kept calling him the baby. Come
yeah.
on, baby. Come on, baby. To like come back on the ship. And of course, the first thing he does is what? Ransack all the kids' stuff.
Yep. Also,
Which,
shame on Wim for not hiding that. Wim knows this is worth money. Also,
but
keeping
women
it all in the
thinks,
one same spot,
I mean, they're not used to like thieves, right? Like, so Wim is just thinking like it's safe with
it's
my
safe with his
stuff.
kind of friends.
But yeah, so I did think that was hilarious, the babysitter protocol. Um,
And the brain rat when he is stealing all the
the brain rat, I keep forgetting about it. So it ends up
so it
being
always
a
shocks
jump
you.
scare. Every time it comes out, I'm like, oh my God, the rat is just living up there. I did you notice that 33 was smoking when Jod kept asking him about Atten and the treasure?
Mhm.
And he kind of let it loose that they've been here before, like at Akron. Like we learn about the planet's name
Yeah, but it
from
was in a way
33.
where it was like this planet messes with, and I think it's like his normal circuitry fighting with the
Yeah.
eraser of his memory, which we find out
Yeah.
later. So early spoiler there.
No, but like I said, each episode is better than the last. And I like that they like are slowly peeling back layers, right? Like
Yeah.
we haven't seen Jod like be shady to the kids yet. And I think seeing him ransack their stuff was the first time we were like, ugh,
Also,
like,
like as a pirate,
yeah.
when are you going? These children definitely have something worth stealing.
Well, I think he knew about them, right? So,
Well,
like, I
they're also
wonder if
very clean. Like
they're all very
comparatively, they
clean.
obviously come from a planet where they're
Yes.
fine. They're not struggling.
They must smell horrendous at this point, right? Like, we're talking days into
I think
adventure.
about that regularly. Everyone, I'm like, I don't think the ship has a shower
They have
that.
not changed their clothing. Like, what is, I
I don't
think
know.
about that all the
I feel
time.
like KB has fixed something on the ship, and she is at least showering. Maybe even Fern.
Yeah.
The boys, I'm not sure about
Well,
that.
because the girls just look very clean.
KB always also looks so like put together.
I love
I
KB.
love KB when they found the headless statue. Just like her curiosity of like studying it, and someone had to come back and get her.
I do also love that Wim and Fern fight about literally everything.
Oh, they're so like brother and sister type.
Watching them explore the planet that looks like theirs, but it's different. Because, like, they end up in a house that looks exactly like Fern's, right? Like the stairwell, the
Hmm.
tree, but it's just destroyed. And at first I was like, did they travel through time? But I feel like that's not a Star Wars thing. I was like, I'm too like wrapped up in the rest of sci-fi where it's like, oh, if you travel through the sun through an active wormhole, you might travel through time.
Yeah. Nope, I
Um,
don't believe there's time travel happening.
yeah, so that's where I was just like watching them just so carelessly go through, and then like in the beat on the ship you get the nod from 33 that this is a very dangerous place, and then you're just like, ooh, Jod is on the ship and the children are out in the dangerous place by
And
themselves.
then find more children.
Which at first I wasn't sure, because at first I was like, are they just like little characters like Ewoks or Jawas or
Hmm.
something? And then
I
I
was
was
like,
just
oh
like,
no, they're
no,
kids.
those are children. And then I was like, is this another planet of children? And I thought, I was like, oh, this is like the young Jedi situation where it's like children meeting children out in the world. But no. Do you remember her name? The girl, Hannah, and she's one of the children
Hmm.
on this planet, which I think that was so nice of her to like take them under her wing and be like, okay, you're off-worlders. We'll keep you safe because the other group is not safe.
Yeah. So they're
Um,
the Troik and the Hatton.
yeah, so Hannah's from the Troik tribe. Um, and I love the way that she like just goes in, like, what flag do you fly? And it's
Hmm.
just like, what is happening? And then,
Yeah.
so at first I thought maybe it was like war games and not like an actual war,
Oh,
because like the
yeah.
way that they were talking. And then I was like, oh no,
Like
they're
they landed
talking
in the
like,
middle of a game of capture the flag.
yeah, well, because they're like, what flag do you fly? And I was like, what a weird thing to ask people you've never seen before. Like, would you not assume that the people you've never seen before are not part of your tribe?
I would have assumed they were not part of your tribe, but maybe there's another tribe we just don't know about.
That's
Or
true.
like
But
maybe their tribe has more people that they don't see that are like hiding out in some other building.
that is true. Um, I love that they're all trying to be quiet and like hide, and Wim is just
I was
whimming
very afraid that
around.
Wim was gonna get everyone caught.
His face was right in the window. And I was like, this girl's going through all these lengths to like have a mirror so she
And
can't be
Wim's just
seen.
out here.
I was scared that they were gonna see him and it was gonna like, oh, Wim.
So then they go back to where the adults are,
Which is the school.
the school.
So they're the that tribe is from the school. They meet Hannah's dad, who was
Scary.
very intense with that staff.
Yes.
Honestly, he was scary at first, but then he just kept banging the staff, and I could not take him seriously. And I was like, please stop it. It is
Yeah.
very piercing. I listened to it on headphones at full blast in noise
Oof.
canceling mode. And every time that staff hit the ground, I was like, "Huh!" Like it was so loud, so loud.
So now the kids are learning to fight. Hannah tells Neil that her friends are hopeless.
So I will say Fern and Wim look hopeless. KB was killing it. And I don't know if her visor was like helping her aim.
Part of me is like, is KB full human? And I've been asking myself this from like episode one, where I'm like, is she like Cybertronic in some way? And I don't know if that's like a thing, but the more I see her, the more I'm like, are you part computer?
I think she's part computer, but I wonder if she is just very like
Analytical,
analytical to the like if she has like autism, right? Like she's
where she can
just
calculate and see it all in her head,
because she
which I could,
seems very much coded that way.
yeah. And the fact
But
that like
yeah,
Neil has this conversation where he's learning about their planet,
and he's like
he's
we have
asking
he's
questions.
he's the only one.
Hmm.
I do think it was a really cute moment when it was like his time to shoot and he just like very much just put the gun down.
Yeah.
And I think it like shows like I love their interaction between Neil and Hannah because like he is from a peaceful planet and she has only known war.
They're from very opposite planets, and he's like talking about like the worst thing that has happened to him is when him and his little brother got into a fight.
And he got walloped by his little brother.
Yeah.
Um but like to him he's just and I think he brought up a good point. He's like when does this end?
Yeah.
Like who wins? You guys fight for generations and I feel like that happens a lot when you think about war
Yeah.
like who is this serving? Like when does this end and who ends it?
Yeah.
Because someone has to end it. Um but yeah, no, so like I think it's a really nice moment for Hannah to see that like not only does he say these things, but he like really truly is a kind person. He gave his
Yes.
food away to the two kids that were sitting there, which I assume have eaten their daily ration and were still hungry. It
I would
seemed
assume
it's
so.
probably what was happening. And Neil, who by all accounts should be hungry, just gave them his food. And you should
Hmm.
see the like she kind of like smiles when she sees it because I think she's just like he is just
Well,
really
it's
from this
also probably not something she sees. So it's something like a little unexpected. And then they're told to lead the army. Like the way Fern is just kind of like kindly refusing, like, it's not,
no,
no, we're
no
okay
thank
over
you.
here.
Well, because it's so obvious that it's a trap. Like they're
Yeah.
sending the new kids out because they don't want to lose any of their
Yeah.
people. And I'm just like, and all of them see it. Maybe not Wim, because I don't think Wim is a astute thinker. but like the other kids are like, this is messed up.
Yeah.
And that's why
I
like
think
Generals,
Wim still sees it as playing.
yes.
Because if you
Because
and you see how he acts like on the planet, he's still very much a kid.
so there was a
But I
moment in
like
the
seeing that one of the
there,
kids is like a kid.
but I think that that also it's just like it's problematic because like
It
one of the
is.
things at the beginning of the episode is when they think that they're home because it looks like home at first glance. Wim is like, it was just starting to get fun. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, you're the only one having fun.
Yes. But I feel like we need that type of energy in this group.
Yeah, to kind of break up the like seriousness of
Well,
the
and it also
others.
brings us back to it reminds us that these are just kids. Because you get to a point where you like are watching a show and they're making like adult decisions and doing very adult things that sometimes you kind of have a blinder. You're like, wait, these are like children. They're
Yeah,
not
and
like young adults.
I think they gave us a few of these moments because like there's that moment where Fern is like bereft, like she doesn't
Mhm.
know what to do, and
Yeah.
everybody keeps and like Wim is the one who has to be like, it's fine, you'll figure it out, and she's like, it's not fine,
And I
like
think
I'm
him
not.
seeing Fern, who usually is kind of unflappable, is what clues
Yeah,
him in. And he's just like, wait, what? Like, I thought
this
we were
is
good.
like that's where I think he's been so playful this whole time because to him it's like Fern is the captain, she'll figure it out,
Yeah.
we'll get home
Even though
eventually.
I want to be captain, like, Fern's got this.
But I think that's the moment where like Fern has been stressed over the weight of like everybody is looking to her
Yeah.
to say what to do next. And she thought this was the last thing, right? Like they found the coordinates. She thought it was over.
Yeah, in the
And then
supervisor
like,
tower.
oh my God. The whole supervisor tower scene was like so wild. But
It's wild, and they like said that on their plan on Aten, nobody goes into the supervisor tower. So these towers are all hiding something.
so I wonder, and we're skipping way far ahead, but I wonder if the supervisor tower is the exact same
I
on
think it
each planet.
is. And
So
maybe this is just if these planets are in a certain like if they're shaped like the supervisor tower, how they each had a column, that there's something in the middle that links them all, which may be this great treasure that everyone is searching
maybe.
for.
I also kind of love that all the planets are like an at A. So like
Yeah.
they go because we know about at Aten, we're on at Akron, and then there's at I2, at Arisia, at Erevan, and at Akonda. And I was just like, why with the names? But that's where I'm just like, it must be clone. Like they must have they all look the same. They're all the same naming convention. Like they're very much an experiment or a situation by the Republic.
Or they are like sister planets that all have the same atmosphere that they decided to create into this cloned universe.
Yeah, like atmos like situation. I thought I laughed so hard at the moment where the kids were like going into the fog with Hayna, which who was so brave to know that they were pushing these kids into a trap and
Yeah.
against the wishes of her father went with them to make them feel better because
Yeah.
they were friends.
To make Neil feel better.
To to make
There's a
Neil feel
difference.
better.
She was there for Neil.
That is true. But and then all of a sudden through the fog, it's John,
With some creatures.
who was just like, I think these are yours.
Think I just ended the war?
Did I just excuse me?
Sorry, I stole
That
Wim's money.
I love them. The he was just like, yeah, they were in for a bargain, like 2 Republic credits, and we were good. And Neil was like, where did you get? Oh, because I also think that's the first time that he did something shady to Neil. I
Yeah.
mean, sorry, Wim.
It's Wim.
Wim was like that.
Wim
And
should have
Wim
kept them
was
in
like,
his shoe. That was like the
you
smartest choice
stole
he'd
my
made.
dataries. You stole my dataries. And he was like, yeah, bro, like, what do you want me to do about it? I just saved your lives with it. So
Yeah, really, it's like we have nowhere to put the stand on.
I love that. He's like, I saved your life. Um, and I think again, like them finding out, because I think at this point, everyone except for probably again Wim and possibly Neil have realized that the 33 situation was sus. Every single time they say the words at Atten, he said the phrase, can't say I remember, no, at. So they must have said that at least a dozen times. He kept saying it. But this is where, like, I like the critical thinking here, where the like Fern is talking to Wim
And it
and she thinks all
also
is hopeful. Is
makes sense of why they decided to put this in episode one.
Yeah, so the nanny droid override. So she's like, I do this with my nanny droid all the time. So the moment though that he remembered and he reverted back to evil pirate droid,
Hmm.
that was scary.
That
I
was
was
he like gets
scared for
tall. Ooh,
Fern. I was just like, oh no. And then like she kind of falters because she's like, I'm your captain. But he's just like, I forgot the thing that if someone's asking about a treasure, who, by the way, Jaw just kept hammering him
yeah,
about a treasure on Atten, that I should get rid of them, tear them to pieces. Like that is the scare. Like honestly, I would say that is probably the scariest moment for these kids
oh yeah.
because they trust 33, and like he got very and Neil. Oh, Neil again in this episode, like he saved them even though he was scared and he almost got torn apart because of it. That 33 got real close. And that's where you're like, okay, John, thank you. We do appreciate you being here. And I do love that John was like, you to Neil, who was throwing rocks, like, you gotta power them down. Don't just throw rocks at it. You gotta
Yeah.
power it down. But yeah, so I don't know. It was scary. And I don't know what they're
Yes.
going to do with 33. How are they going to get him back to the ship? Are they gonna override his memory again? Because now he's the only one with the coordinates back home.
Yeah. So,
So, or do they try and find some of the other planets? Like, I think they might pull the coordinates of the other planets if they're smart to see if any of the other planets are still standing. Because at this point, we thought they were destroyed except for At Aten, but that's not true. This planet is still standing. So destroyed might be destroyed in the sense of like the utopia has been destroyed.
or everyone just assumes it's actually gone because they don't realize it's there.
Yeah, so that's what I think is probably going to happen next. And I
Because
wonder,
if people are coming to trade, the lore of this planet of Akron is gone. Like people are like, there's nothing
yeah,
here. It's deserted. It's war torn. Like we go there to make a few bucks on the side.
yeah. But that's where it's just like, I wonder if that's what they'll do. They'll check the coordinates for all the other planets. Because ideally, like, if there's a planet that is the exact same, you could
Hmm.
hope that the supervisor tower is also intact,
Yeah.
that possibly the coordinates for At Aten are there.
Yeah.
So I kind of think that I'm hoping that that's what we do next, and we get to explore all the different um
At planets.
planets at planets.
Yeah, planets. One of my favorite quotes from this came from Hannah was, "My world could use some kindness."
I think that's just like so sweet. And I love the moment where she was just like, we're not going to have peace right now, but like maybe when I become a leader, like I will help broker that peace.
Yeah.
I'll remember you. I'll remember you. And I was just like, the kiss on the cheek was so cute. And I'm just kind of like, this is going to be so adorable because like these kids are going to go through, they're going to meet all these new people, possibly change. I'm hoping that like each kid gets like a highlight per episode or something. So like I
Yeah.
do hope that we
If we
find out
learn
more
about
about
each kid more.
KB. Yeah, because like this was definitely a very big Neil episode.
Yes, this was the Neil episode of all Neil episodes.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. We're pro Neil. I saw a post that says Neil could lift Mjolnir. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, and I say that is
I
valid.
agree.
Neil
I
could, in
agree.
fact.
He, I think out of all the kids, he is the most kind.
He's the most pure.
Yeah. And I don't
Like,
know, because like,
he's not
do,
jaded.
do we know if KB has siblings?
I don't think she has,
I don't think she does. Fern doesn't have
but
siblings.
we
Wim
don't
does.
know.
Yeah, I don't know about KB, but we know
That's
that
one thing
Fern.
we did not get a look back at the parents this episode. So I'm curious if we will see the parents in the next.
I hope we see Wendell to see like what he's
I
cooking
want
up.
an update. I want an update from the parents, but I'm glad they didn't do it in this episode.
This episode, I think we got so much that having no update from the parents is also good for us to remember that like
Hmm.
these kids don't know what's happening with their parents
Yeah.
either, right? Like Neil is the only one I think who has verbalized that his family will be worried um in that first episode, but I think that like we still don't really understand this medical situation of KB's.
Well, we don't
Um
understand KB's family at all. And although we
yeah,
didn't spend much time, we've had a glimpse into Neil's family life, and we could tell it's just a very loving family, whereas Fern and Wim have very different circumstances, where from kid brain, I could see where it would be like Wim's not even categorizing this. His maturity
I don't
level,
think.
not even thinking about it. But Fern, I could see her questioning, being like, "Does my mom miss me?"
Yeah. Whereas with KB and Neil, I feel like they are probably like, my parents are probably so worried.
But it's also like you could tell that Fern wants to get home. And I don't know
Yeah.
if she thinks of it from the side that her parents are missing her or the fact that she's like, I don't know how to get to where I know.
Yeah. No, so that's where I'm hoping kind of the next episode, I'm hoping we get to see another one of these planets.
Yes.
Um, and I'm hoping that we get a parent update in the
Yes.
next one. I wonder if they'll do like a parent-centric episode.
I don't know that I would enjoy that. I think I'd rather it be in pieces of getting updates from them. I don't think I want a whole parent episode,
That's true.
but we shall see.
Yeah.
So remember,
We're not the droids you're looking for.
but we're the droids you're gonna get.